Hey, see, I can still remember to go live on my channel. I mean, I know it's a vastly different day, but I want to thank all of you for giving up a little bit of your Sunday. I have got something truly amazing for you today. I know the light's a little bit weird with sunlight and everything in the Pacific Northwest, but still, we're going to get through it. Now, we got to kick this thing off like we usually do. So, you ready for it? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, TCT BNL, that is this sexy old motherfucker right here, is proud to bring to you our soon-to-be world-famous No Lag Zone. And today, you guys know how much I hate those First Amendment auditors. I showcased one of them. This one is entirely different. Talk about setting a gold standard. Oh, yeah, we had to get him on the show. But without much further ado, we are proud to bring to you the one, the only Ironton Auditor.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing this fine, wonderful day?
He's so peaceful in my little spastic ass. He's like, hi. But before we get too far into, we're going to get the quick roll call out of the way. Debo's Nation, how you doing? Chris Rayner, my friend. Fuck your Orioles, by the way. Fuck them. Hope you're doing well, my brother. Queen Bee, how are you? Brother Ricks, how are you, man? And yes, he does. We had to have him on. Now, my brother, I'm going to give you the floor. Give everyone the quick elevator pitch about Ironton Auditor.
Well, I don't know that there's much of an elevator pitch exactly. I grabbed a camera and went into the local hometown here because I heard some bad things about the police officers there. So I grabbed the camera and went at it. And I thought that I was going to be one of those auditors that you see on YouTube. However, my personal experience has turned out completely different.
Yeah, and for everyone who really doesn't know, a little while ago, I did a show with Mr. DeCastro. I highlighted a couple of his videos. Most of these auditors are people who claim they're in a fight for your rights, and they're out there stress testing your rights for your safety. Like you saw with that episode, they insert themselves into police activity hoping to catch a charge.
Well, the more charges they catch, the more lawsuits they can file. The more lawsuits they file, the more likely they are to get one settled and make a quick buck, if you want my opinion of what I think is going on there most of the time. I think that's what they're in it for, is the buck, the money.
I wholeheartly agree with you, because we've got one idiot down in Seattle, which is about 45 minutes away from me, Glenn Serio.
I've heard of him.
I'm sorry. I'll put it to you honestly. I'm sorry. He loves doing dumb crap and looking into his chat going, if you super chat me $500, I'll walk up and smack this officer. I'm like, what?
It'd almost be worth the $500 just to see him get tased, wouldn't it?
Oh, Serio's gone down a lot. He's an idiot. From what I understand, he's now homeless and living in SeaTac Airport. So let's see how well that works out for him, Well,
maybe that'll teach him a lesson. Sometimes it's the bad things we go through in life that raise us up out of the gutter, and we stop being gutter trash and start being responsible members of society.
For some people, yes, I agree with you. What's that term? Hitting rock bottom? That right. You can start that climb right back up and get yourself fixed and get yourself good. But we have other people who are just idiots and see it as an opportunity. But this is why I wanted you on this show. And we talked earlier this week, and I said it then. I'm going to say it now so it's out there for everyone to hear it. I went in there to see if you were exactly like them. And I was shocked by what I found.
And so coming from outside the box, what did you find?
Hey, this is the only way I could put it. The gold standard. If you want to watch cops, watch his channel. He's going to show you how to do it right. Okay. Do I believe every single law enforcement officer is evil and corrupt and bad? No. Law of averages, 1 out of every 10. Okay, that's just law of averages.
Right.
And yeah, Debo's, I agree. He does it the right way. I like the fact that when I finally got to see Police Interaction on the channel, you stayed back. You didn't hop out of the car with 2 cell phones running up and going, "Oh my God, why are you beating this man? What are you doing?" You sat there and you're like, "We're going to hang back here. We're going to let this play out. I think this is what's going on." And you did it right.
I always say I'm not sure if there is a right way to do it, because I have to be honest. I probably wouldn't much encourage what I do for most people. And the reason is because I'm afraid they'll end up acting like some of the other so-called auditors out there. Right. I've been told many times I should change my name from auditor to cop watcher. They say you're not an auditor, you're a cop watcher. The reason they think I'm not an auditor is because they've never seen any auditing skills. They think auditing skills is standing on the sidewalk screaming at the person who was pulled over, "Hey, you don't have to say anything," and screaming at the cops, "Hey, you big bad jackboot thug pig tyrant," all those things. And I don't consider that auditing. Auditing means that you're looking through paperwork, you're calculating, you're counting, you're finding out if they are doing what they say they are doing, and you do that with body cam footage and police reports and things like that. So all of that's generally handled off camera.
And that's what always gets me. Okay. I hear this phrase a lot, and I've never heard it on your channel, but I hear this phrase a lot. "I am invoking my right to be press." You're not press. Press have ethics, standards, and morals that they have to live up to.
Right.
Just because you have a YouTube channel does not make you a reporter that's going to get invited to the White House state dinner.
I agree. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I had a quick talk once with the chief of police in Ironton. We were out in the waiting area waiting to go into a court case. There was an officer here who was arrested with drugs, and they were being, excuse me, they were being called as witnesses on the stand, and I was just there to watch. And as they walked into the waiting room there, I looked up at the chief and I asked him, I said, "Chief, are y'all sick of me out there yet? Am I annoying you enough yet?" And he looked across at me and got this big giggle, as he looked me in the eye, and he said, "Terry, I hate to tell you, you're not an auditor." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, you're nothing like those guys." And I said, "Well, what would you call me?" And him and his detective had this brief little discussion, and they come up with the idea of citizen journalist, which I thought was incredibly respectful, seeing as how personally I've never claimed to be press. I've never claimed to be a journalist or anything of the sort. The only thing I have ever claimed to do is exercise my First Amendment to make sure that I have it. I can't necessarily defend your rights, but I can make sure that we have the right to exercise them. But with all exercising of rights comes something that most people do not possess, and that comes with maturity and responsibility. If you do not have those two things, or if you do not understand what I'm talking about, then you shouldn't try to exercise rights.
And now we have the other part of the team here, unless he dropped his phone. What's going on, Ed?
No. I'm doing good. How's everybody else doing out there?
Well, now, for everyone who doesn't know, Ed is Harry's uncle, cousin, brother, daddy, nephew, something. They're from Billy Hall, so they are.
You forgot sister. You forgot sister.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I don't need to be assuming. You're right. You're right, sister.
Yeah, the funny thing is he is both my first cousin and my uncle. Right. The reason is because he is my mother's brother's son, which makes him my first cousin. But he married my father's half sister, which, of course, they weren't related. But now I'm double related to them and their children. So that explains why he's kind of cousin, uncle, brother Ed. He's like a brother, but he's actually my cousin, and by marriage, my uncle.
Now, Triple B, I'm going to touch on that real quick. Okay. When you watch a lot of these channels, and this is why I've always joked with Terry about this. I don't get how walking into a library and accosting a security guard is auditing the library. I don't get how you think you have a right to walk onto a military base and go, "Hey, I can drive a tank if I want to. Taxes pay that. I pay your salary."
Well, here's the question. If your rights were under attack, would it be at the local post office or the local library, or maybe out in front of that third-party business that you're annoying the crap out of today with your camera? Are those people out on the street threatening your right to film or right to speak free in public? I would say probably not only average day. Our rights are not under attack by other citizens. Sorry.
And I get it. You want. I'm a YouTuber, okay? You want the sensationalism. Oh, wow, okay. We lost one. We got another one. All right, I think he's back.
It booted me out.
That's all right. We always get you back in here. I don't get how, like I was saying, sorry. You want that sensationalism, okay? You really do. You want people to talk about you. You want people to keep watching your stuff and keep watching everything. But what gets me is with you two, and I said this to Terry a little bit ago, you guys are like a fucking party bus. You load up, you bring all your friends along and go, let's go cruising and have a good time.
Right.
That's right.
I mean,
That's what makes the show is the people.
Right. Exactly. Our interactions, not only with law enforcement and citizens here in the town, but people in the chat, people that cruise through. We always have our main group, but there are always new people in and, coming in, passing by, checking us out. We have a great.
And you said it perfectly, because I was one of those that just stumbled in and went, okay. And like I've confessed, at first I was like, well, you work with the pepper. You got to be a dickhead. And then I started digging in more with you guys, and I asked some rather sarcastic questions, and you guys just rolled with it, had fun with it, and showed me who you were,
Well, sarcasm is our natural language.
Yeah.
we have no problems with that at all.
That's our favorite part of the whole thing is whenever the trolls come in and try to give us a hard time.
Yeah, that's where the fun starts.
I did see that in one of the last ones I caught from you guys. I think that was like your 3-stop night that I saw. I was like, oh my God, they found 3 different cars. This is cool. Right. And you had a troll come in there and just try to light you up. And you guys were just, oh man, you were having so much fun with them. I was dying with laughter watching it.
It's probably why we don't have so many. Occasionally there'll be one stop by, I assume, because they think it's just as fun as the auditor hating channels, or being on one of the auditors themselves. But our channel is nothing like any of the rest of them out there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like when you guys stop, what'd they call it that one night? Oh yeah, the True Terry stop, where you had to dump a gallon of coffee and rehydrate yourself with more coffee. And,
right.
We were like, man, he didn't even roll down the window for us. Oh, well, hope it's not too cold outside. And you guys got back in and just played right along with the chat.
Yeah, when I first started, we would, there was another guy that rode with me, Eugene. We would just record videos. I was nervous and didn't know how to do a live. And you know how that stuff will scare you to death until you get used to it or understand how it works. And putting yourself out there like a punching bag is tough enough in a video, let alone a live, where people can take live jabs, So after I started running live, everything changed, but for a while it was just posting those videos, probably for a good 6 or 8 months, maybe, before we even had a live, really.
Yeah, but now granted, I've caught you later on in your career. You were very natural with it. You just flow with it, you ride with it, and you just have fun, which makes your channel that much more interesting. I mean, I was watching the Ohio River flooding with you. I'm like, wow, I am watching flood damage on his channel. What the hell? You're making that interesting,
I'm watching water flow down a river. Who would have thunk it? Huh?
I just and the
go ahead.
I'm
still upset because Big Boss promised to buy me a bra and never did.
That's right. That's right. One of our trolls did. He promised to buy Colette a bra and wouldn't come off the money. He even said he would have an enlargement to make it fit if necessary.
That's right. Hey.
And for all you guys watching this, and for everyone watching later on, make sure you hashtag Replay Squad. You guys are the backbone of this channel and everything. I get on a Sunday. I get taking up your time. When you rewatch this, I want you to go check out their channel. It's easy to find, Ironton Auditor. Now, I'm going to say it this way, and I know you know what I'm trying to convey here, Terry, so Ed, bear with me. You may have started off with a real dickhead, but man, I don't want to say redeem, but you have shown the right way to do things in the most corrupt town ever in America.
Well, it's the most corrupt town according to the Pepper. However, if you didn't know, he is a huge liar and a big coward.
We'll make sure he gets
Well,
his
just
coffee.
if you go to any small town, every one of them will tell you that their town is corrupt. So it's everywhere that they say it. It's
Well,
just
there's
proving
probably
it.
corruption everywhere. I mean, there's good and bad people,
Yeah.
as we established earlier. Bad people make Big Macs the same as good people make Big Macs, right? Bad people become car salesmen the same as some good people become car salesmen. That is true throughout any single job where humans are the ones hired to do it, right?
Hey,
So there's
conspiracy
good and
music,
bad.
welcome to the show. No, and what always kills me, because I live in a small town where I'm at, okay? Whenever you hear about corruption and evil and everything, it's usually from somebody who's a pillbilly.
Right.
And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, look, you've been arrested 12 times for meth.
Right.
Wow, what a shock,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, see, I think a lot of people fail to realize what reasonable suspicion is. If an officer, if this guy has a history, right, and let's face it, most of these auditors have a huge long criminal history. I don't, right?
Right.
But when you see one of these guys and you already know they've got, like, they've been stopped 4 or 5 different times and had drugs every time, is it reasonable to assume they probably do right now? Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And unfortunately for these people, they don't seem to understand what reasonable suspicion gives them the power to do. It allows them to search for probable cause. That's how that works,
Well, that's because you got idiots, and I'm going to name 3 right off the top of my head. Craig Hendry, News Now Omaha, and the Pepper, who are big shiny bass boats for fucking morons who think they know the law, they don't, and are preaching to brain dead idiots who will sit and go, he's right, my rights were violated.
Right. Yep. A lot of these, like I say, a lot of the times they have reason for the suspicion, even though you'd like to pretend like this is a singular event, and no matter what they've known about your past, they shouldn't be suspicious of you. That's just not true anywhere in the real world. It wouldn't be true with people who don't wear a badge. It sure would not be true with people who do.
Now, let's go back to that original thing. What made you pick up your camera and go out and do this? Because I think that's interesting right there.
A couple years before Chili came to town, I had a deputy. Without telling the whole story, I told it on Chili's channel. It was when he was in Ironton at the McDonald's. So if you want to go back and hear it all then, but I basically had a deputy treat me very, very bad, very rough. And at that moment, Ironton Auditor was born. However, he didn't pick up a camera for 2 years later. 2 years later, Chili comes into town. I had heard through a friend that there was a quote unquote YouTuber and or First Amendment auditor in Ironton. And so I turned it on. I seen where he was at in his live. At that point, I'd only heard a little bit of the of the main story that brought here. And I went in to shake the man's hand, because in my mind, he came here from wherever he came from, and he came all the way to Little to help someone.
Ed, you okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna run inside real quick. I'm gonna gotta go grab a pizza for the family.
Well, make sure you mute.
I am.
Sorry about that. Where were we?
You're fine. You were talking about how you'd met Chili, you shook his hand, thanked him.
Right. So he came here to help somebody. I thought that was important. This little old town that barely started appearing on maps in the last 15 or 20 years, it really wasn't thought of much. So I thought a lot of him, only because I did not know who this guy was. And so I followed him around here for about a week and a half or so. And during that week and a half, and a few days after that is when I started to piece together that this guy is a liar, and that he's a great deceiver. And that I had swallowed it hook, line, and sinker for a minute. And I was incredibly embarrassed, felt dirty and ashamed of myself, once I had realized what a shit this guy truly, truly is.
But I also like how, and I did catch the video, at least just one of them you did with Tina Slay, how you were able to recognize it, turn it around. And I see what you're doing out there. Now, granted, it makes me giggle every time I see the American Patriot series. I'm like, okay, with that opening, I'm like, Mama, I never do drugs. So if I get arrested for drugs, they planted it on me. You must be overlooking that GHB situation that you had that you got a great deal on, you little rat, aren't you? But still,
Oops.
I look at that where they're coming out like every week, it seems, but yet I watch your videos and it's two entirely different stories. Now, granted, I've seen some idiots out there in your town, just running around, running through City Hall, screaming, "Oh my God, it's a public building. Mikey, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Hope everything's well in your world, man." Which is the other part I don't get about these guys. What makes you think you can just walk right into the mayor's office, sit down behind his desk, and go, "I want to see the last 12 years worth of finances right now"?
Well, I tell you what I did. I walked into the city building in Ironton, and I asked where I might find all of their costs and how much they paid and all that kind of stuff. And they directed me to an office, and I get there is obviously finance and tax office of the city. And he said, "Well, I can give you what I have right now, or if you wait 3 days, it's actually scheduled to be fully compiled for the entire year. Would you like that?" I said, "That sounds great." So 3 or 4 days later, I went back in and he gave me all the paperwork, and there you go. Mute it, sir. All that noise is coming through, Ed.
We would like it though, ain't it? Like the noise.
We don't.
Now, I know this may sound like a weird one, but so far in the history of your channel, what do you think is your proudest moment that you've accomplished so far?
I don't know, man. I don't really have I guess the proudest moment I had was when, for me personally, is when people started to realize that I was not Chili and that I was not like Chili, that I was never paid or worked for Chili, that for a time I worked with him because I was ignorant. And once I was educated, I stepped away from that. I think my proudest moment is when people realized that I was different, that I was not like him.
Now, to follow that up, and for all of my guys who don't know or don't even watch the Peppers channel, he released a video where he sat there bashing Terry. I paid him to do this. I paid him to do that. I paid him thousands of dollars. And he's showing his Venmo. And I'm like, there's 20, there's 30, there's 15. Huh?
Right.
And
And the best part was the 900 and some dollar a cash app that he showed. $820 of that was to file the lawsuits. So the rest of it was the gas money for me to get there and back. So whenever it went to someone else on the fourth day, I had to send that $820 to that person. So that wasn't payment. So it took 90% of what he was even talking about out.
So I am curious about something. Okay, and I don't want this show to be about the pepper, but I've got a great insight and a great opportunity to learn something right here. All right. How truthful is it that when he's coming into a town, he wants everybody else there to do his legwork for him so he can just show up, pop his fucking camera on, and go, "We're out here filing paperwork right now"?
Absolutely. Like he did for Tina Slay. He's like, we need to have we're going to have this huge press conference, right? We're going to get national attention on your child being killed by law enforcement. We're going to do this. So basically they did all the work while he laid around and did absolutely nothing. That is Chili. That's what he does. He manipulates you into thinking that if something doesn't work, it's got to be your fault. It couldn't possibly be his. You're just not working hard enough. That's the kind of guy he is. What started to turn me on to the fact that he was full of it was, every time they would screw something up and I would call him and say, "Look, man, this isn't right," he would chew me out like it was my fault. And all I was doing was standing there waiting on the paperwork to be printed. I didn't type a thing. I was standing there paying out of my own pocket to have his stuff printed so I could go file a lawsuit for him. And he's screaming, has the audacity to scream and holler at me like I had done something wrong because I was questioning the stupidity of the people that he had closest around him.
And I think Debo's Nation brings up a great thing, okay? Because I am so sick and tired of hearing about policies, procedures, and protocols that I have set forward and tested, whatever. if you've tested these things, and we've all seen his videos where he's losing his motherfucking mind in his car, thinking he's talking to a cop, what the hell?
Did you ever see the one where he reaches the cop his trifold? He reaches an officer his trifold. The officer takes it in his hand and just throws it straight back down the seat and didn't even look at it. Nice. Said, I need your license and registration.
Triple B, the easiest way I can put this, he's got stupid case laws out there. Like, I can swear whenever I want to. And he takes some of the things from like a dissenting judge's statement that goes, profanity is another man's song. So according to Chili, he can say and do whatever he wants to do. He takes state laws from other states and thinks it applies elsewhere, like the infamous tech lines versus Danforth. He tried quoting that in Arizona, and they were like, it doesn't rule here. He believes these things on his little trifold will let you do whatever the hell you want to do and will keep you out of jail no matter what.
He is definitely wrong. For any of you out there that still support Jose Maria de Castro, a.k.a. Chili de Castro, know that you're just like me. You're ignorant, and you need someone to give you a wake-up call and educate you so that you can turn around and look at them and say, thank you for saving me from the idiocy that I had found myself in.
Now, see, and here's another thing which separates you guys. And Ed, I want you to chime in on this too, okay, bud?
Okay.
You guys don't sit there and e-beg on every goddamn video like every other auditor does. Why is that? And I'm using that as the phrase auditor, not as a slam on you guys, but you know what I'm saying.
We don't e-beg for any reason. As a matter of fact, I had to stop mentioning when I had to fix my car. And the reason is because there's always so many people out there ready to send me money. And the problem I have with that is if it costs me $30 online to get the part and I do my own mechanic work and I've got it done in less than 100, if 3 people send me $100, they're wasting their money, right? So I just try not to mention things like that. I don't ask for money ever. Ed, what do you say?
As a matter of fact, a lot of the stuff we do is charity work. We try to help everybody out that we possibly can. It's not about what we need. It's about what they need. We're the servants of the people, so we go help out as much as we can, and we don't need much to live.
The Bible says, "Greater he who serves," and that's what we do. We serve.
Yeah, Triple B, it is a physical thing. That's why it's a trifold. It's a piece of paper folded 3 times. According to Chili, it's indestructible. Okay. Seriously,
well, the $40 version is. The $5 version is just plain paper.
Yeah. I love how he goes, here's one you can print at home, but it's going to cost you $10.
Yeah, right.
But he thinks he's smarter than everybody else in the room. And his stuff is old. It's really old, but still.
It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, sir. Or a lot of dummy people call it Dummy Kruger. You know what I mean?
Great channel. That's a great channel.
Dummy Kruger is a good channel. Yeah, he is. But I mean, as far as the actual effect, that's what happens. You can't fix stupid. And if you don't believe that, the Bible says the same thing. Even God knows you can't fix stupid. That's why he said, let the ignorant be ignorant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even God's telling you, you can't fix stupid, guys.
Yeah, and I've even said it like a couple dozen times. Hold on. What up, Contagion Effect? Hope you guys are doing awesome. I hate the fact that he goes up to everything and he goes, I'm a constitutional law scholar. I'm like, so what? I'm a 40-year masturbator. What does that got to do with anything?
Right. And I almost guarantee you're a hell of a lot better than he is at constitutional law. I'll lay down.
Yeah. And this is why I really wanted you guys on here, because this is like watching them when they're doing their ride-alongs. This is who they are, and this is why technically he is the gold standard. Terry, he's card-carrying member of being a gold standard.
Actually,
platinum standard. He's moved up a bit.
There's actually a card game that was made by Hezekiah. He has a channel called Frauditor Follies. Now, he's one of the guys that show the stupid auditors and make fun of them a lot. And he had done one of those little, like Magic the Gathering, a little card game that you sit across the table and play with dice and stuff, right? Kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons type little thing.
Right.
And so when he did it with the auditors and the channels that talk about him all the time, right? But somehow I ended up as one of the epic heroes, the gold standard of auditing, and have my own card, as a matter of fact. So I lawfully am a card carrying, the gold standard, I guess.
I mean, I love it. And this is why, and everybody watching this later on, get out there, go check out his channel. I am all for cop watching. I think it's great. I think these guys are doing an incredible service. They're putting their life on the line every single time they go to work. That's why I love body cams, because body cams are a great equalizer. I mean, a beautiful equalizer. It catches the same amount of dumb shit from the public as it burns cops.
Right.
I think they're great. If you want to film. You're not the story. And that's what separates these guys. And that's mind-blowing to me.
May I give a stern warning to anyone out there who is thinking about picking up a camera and doing what we do. One evening, I had gotten there a little bit close. The other guy that used to ride with me a lot, Eugene, and I, we were out, and we hadn't gone live yet. We were just doing videos. Oop, I think we lost it.
He dropped his phone, I bet.
Probably. And so I noticed that they're driving around really slow with their spotlights on. So I know that they're looking for someone or something, right? And my idiot self, I got a little too close and right up in the middle of it. And I thought my partner got shot in the face that night. Like literally, it changed everything. And I did a video after that night, trying to explain to people what it felt like. Because I honestly thought he was dead at that moment. Luckily, that didn't happen, but it looked like he pulled a pistol. And so if you're going to do what I do, know that cops really do put their lives on the line at times. That anything can happen at any time. And you have to be smart enough to keep your ass out of the crossfire. What you don't want to do is put the cops in a position where now not only are they trying to keep themselves and the people around them safe, but now they got to save you because you got stupid and put yourself between the criminal and them. That's probably not the smartest thing to do. And I found out that night kind of by default, so that's why you'll see me hang back a little more nowadays and make sure that it's safe before I approach the situation.
And even then, you've gone one step further. You told me in the live, and I saw it when you did one of your infamous Terry stops. You wear a reflective vest because you want them to know you're there.
Well, it started one evening. I hadn't really thought about it at all because the Ironton police, they know me, I know them. They were used to me following them around. But what had happened was the highway patrol stopped someone downtown one night. And I had walked up, and it probably scared the bejesus out of them to see some hillbilly walking up with a camera and a pistol on his hip, right? They had no clue who I was. They didn't know why I was there. And they sent one of the IPD back to babysit me for a bit, and he and I were laughing a little bit. And it was the next day because I got to thinking about it that night. I thought, if I get a vest and I'm the only person out here in the dark, when they shine that light back and they see that vest, at least they know it's me. Right. That, that way I stick out above anybody else on the street. So they know that vest they don't have to aim at. When I come out between two parked cars, they don't have to be as afraid because they'll know it's me. So that was for the police officers' benefit, because I don't want to put them in a situation where they shoot me for sure. And I don't want them to be afraid of me, and I don't want anyone in the cars. Right. If they got someone pulled over, or if I happen up on a sidewalk and they're to call for service, I don't want the homeowners. I don't want anyone to be afraid of me. I want them to know exactly who I am and what I'm doing.
See, and one of the things I love about your police department, personally, I think you have one of the coolest sheriffs. Is that what he is? A sheriff, or
are you talking about the legislator?
Yeah, legislator.
He is a captain of the Ironton Police Department.
Okay. You have the coolest captain ever.
Yes.
You really do. His channel is comedy gold. It flat out is comedy gold.
He actually was the one who was supposed to have an actual in the ring match with Chili.
I remember the Chili, bad knees, high blood pressure. Oh, he couldn't pass the pre-fight physical. Whatever.
Gotta love it, man. Chili is he's Chili. I don't know what else to say. He's 50% bullshit and 50% chicken shit. That is 100% Jose Maria de Castro. Good luck proving me wrong. I know him too well. Oh, thanks, Clay. I appreciate it. Clay thinks I'm a good guy. I don't know why. Maybe I'm a goose guy.
Well, he followed it up. He followed it up real quick with good. So
Oh, there you go. I figured that's what he meant. But if you're trying to goose me, Clay, get off me.
there he is. Okay. Hey, Ed, you back? Well, he's got us on mute. Whatever. He'll unmute when he wants to talk. All right, Ed, can you hear me?
Yes.
I want to know what made you hop in the car. What made you go riding with him?
Well, I seen he was struck. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
No, I just recently gotten back from Missouri when all this year first started, and I was still trying to, get fit back in here and everything. And like you said, we're like brothers, so I just decided to hop in here and start riding with him.
And Mikey, yeah, they're in Ironton. So he's in Huntington, right across the river from you.
Oh,
guys.
yeah. I can almost throw a rock.
Yeah.
We like Greeter. Don't throw a rock at him, but I know what you're saying. I don't. So how's that feel, though, Ed, riding around and doing stuff? I mean, is it kind of weird to you? You getting used to it?
No, me and Terry always hung out a lot before I moved. So yeah, just getting back into it, and it's just pretty much just me and him hanging out. The cops they mess up our hanging out. When they got to pull somebody over and we got to stop. But I
have to stop having fun and get out and do some work.
Yeah.
Now you see why he's brother Ed, huh?
Yeah, I mean, this is just seriously like one of your lives, except now it's on my channel. And this is why I love you guys so much. It's a party bus that's fun. You do try to help educate people. Like, what was it? Not that long ago, the cops pulled someone over for narcotics, I think it was, and you got the pamphlet from them that they gave the guy, and you were able to talk about it and educate people on there.
Right. Well, that's you got to remember, most of these auditors say that, you should be educating the people. Well, I do that through my videos, right? That's what I use that avenue for, and I like to learn things myself. So when I found out that, I already knew this existed, but when I found out there was an actual physical pamphlet that I could get and go over, which I want to do a video about it soon so that people understand. But basically, if you get caught with a felony amount of drugs, they kind of put that on the back burner. And if you go through rehab and everything and you do what you're supposed to, they wipe that felony off your record. And that's like one of the best ideas in the world, so that you don't become a felon first. Because once you're a felon, life changes forever. It's harder to get a job. It's harder to be able to take care of yourself, right? So I think it's an admirable thing to do it that way.
Correct. And I'm going to say it like this, and I'm not trying to be argumentative on that. I used to live in Portland, Oregon. It was great a while ago. Now it's just a fucking cesspool. The city council down there thought it was a smart thing to decriminalize all narcotics.
How'd that go?
Yeah. Just as well as you might have think it would go, Now,
I always said maybe they should just give them all they want. And I know that sounds terrible to people, but hear me out. Once all the people that are going to abuse them and OD are done, once they're all gone, guess what? The rest of us know better, and it's over. The whole epidemic, the whole drug crisis is done. The war on drugs is over. The cops can relax. We can relax. And I know that sounds terrible. It's just the only way I know to fix it. What we're doing ain't working.
Well, and it kills me that now they're figuring out it didn't work. And now they're trying to criminalize certain things. And I'm like, you should have never changed a while ago. Well, I admit, if this person who gets caught, everybody does something stupid in their life. Everybody. You just can't avoid it. Sometimes it takes going before a guy in a black robe going, yeah, Your Honor, I was a fucking dumbass. If you're able to change your life and have something moved, I'm all for it. I just don't like, and like you're saying right here, he just got his medical meth card. Oregon is awesome, so no one.
That's funny.
The thing is, if they get in trouble again, they him up on that first one also.
Did you get any of that, or is he roboting like
pamphlet, handing out?
Okay,
I'm sorry, my roboting.
No, you're sounding better now. Keep going.
All right. What the people don't understand is whenever they let them go on those drug charges, you know, and put it on the back burner, that means they have to stay clean. If they get in trouble again,
Right.
that's brought up.
Right. Yeah. They still have to pay for that if they don't get their stuff cleaned up. That's for sure.
Well, and yeah, I'm all for that. You know, I seriously, truly am. Like, as much as I freely admit it, I wanted that judge to hit the pepper with the max sentence. So maybe he might learn something. He ain't learned shit other than how to grift from jail. Okay. But when he's doing all his dumb shit out there in your guys' area, and he catches a whiff of my bond's about to be revoked and hauls ass.
Yep.
I know. Matching chili with drugs. If you guys know his backstory, you know why I brought that up, okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And not to mention his running away from warrants, because he's done it all across the country. Just saying, when he says, I have no criminal record, that is an absolute lie. And that's what I found out 2 years ago, and why Chili hated me, because I knew the truth above all others and could prove it.
I think he has 3 active warrants right now.
Right. With no criminal history, according to him, by the way.
Yeah, Frauditor Troll just did a video on him today. No, Frauditor Ram, excuse me, Frauditor Ram. And by the way, if you guys haven't checked out Dickbag Patrol's channel, that's his name, Dickbag Patrol. That's a great channel to go and get a great laugh at Chili.
Somebody has to patrol the dick bags, and Dickbag Patrol does it great, by the way. He is hilarious. I like him too.
Especially with the Clint Eastwood voice he's got going, and AI Chili, and yeah.
You know, that's really his voice. I've talked to him on the phone. I was curious to talk to him the first time, like, you know, because I was just curious. And by Joe, it is. He sounds exactly like that. It's so cool. I like his voice.
Yeah, Debo's exactly. Dickbag is fucking phenomenal. Just seriously. I laugh every time I think about the name of the channel. It's just great. But this is why these guys really deserve your views. They deserve your view time. If you're curious about stuff, boom, there you go, you know? What we got here?
Hey, Scott.
What up, Scott?
I'm starting to see a lot of my normals in here. Queen Bee and Clay from Conspiracy Music, Debo's Nation, Scott Hubert. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate it.
And you see, it's funny as you're saying that right there. Riot Girl, or whatever she's going by now, Rage Girl or something, or as people call her, the Honey Boo Boo of auditing. She was just released a video complaining that her landlord wouldn't let her renew her lease, and she can't find a place to live because all the charges stacking up on her. And I'm like, if your profession requires you to get arrested, maybe you might want to look at another line of work.
A quote from a Jim Carrey movie comes to mind. Stop breaking the law, asshole!
I love that.
Like, damn it, just quit. It's so easy for me to leave the house every morning and make it back every night after dark and never having broken a single law the whole time I was out. I don't know why these other people have such a tough time.
Well, and it's weird. Like, any bad interaction I've ever had with law enforcement has been because of this, my big fucking mouth. Okay? I'm my own worst enemy in certain areas, and I can freely admit it. So every time I've ever had to be in torture cuffs or, you know, interact with law enforcement, it's because I did something wrong.
Right.
Period.
Most of the time, that's true.
Yeah, and this is what I'm teaching my kids nowadays. My youngest daughter loves doing it because we live right by a fire station, and the police department is literally, if you go out, take a right, a left, and another right, you're at the police department. So awesome. we see a lot of officers all the time, and I have my little girl wave at them. I'm like, wave. Because any single time something bad's going on in your life and mommy and daddy can't be there, they're going to be the ones who are going to save you.
That's right. That's right.
Well, they got to hope that's who's going to save them.
No, we got a great small town, and I've got great working relationship with law enforcement out here. So yeah, you see, and that's the other thing.
I love how Debo says that, and see that's the point. While all these auditors are trying to quote unquote teach the cops a lesson by suing the shit out of them, it's not the officers who are paying; it's the taxpayer. The very people that you like to tout and grift money from, those are the people that are suffering for your bullshit choices. Don't go out and break the law. You won't have to file lawsuits, and you won't have to grift people out of twice as much money for you being the asshole that can't quit breaking the law.
And it's funny to me, for every single one of these dickheads out there, which you guys are not, and I got to stress this a lot. If anybody thinks I'm talking shit to these guys, I'm not. I actually have a lot of respect for what they do and how they do it. All right. For every channel out there who's a dickhead, you've got at least 12 going, here's how we're going to expose you.
Right.
There's one out there, Fraudic Wrangler.
Mm-hmm.
He's a stolen valor piece of shit who avoided a capital murder charge because of a typo.
That's what I'm hearing. Huh. I actually was fairly tight with him in the beginning because he was part of the community, you know. So there you go.
Yep. And to show you the level of his brain trust, the PS3 he stole while committing his capital murder, he connected to his own Wi-Fi when he got home.
Well, no one accuses most criminals of being the brightest, sir. Just say it.
But yeah. We keep losing you, Ed.
Yeah, I'm moving around here. I've got the swimming pool filling up.
Nice.
Well, you're supposed to not get in it with the phone, sir.
Hey, I tell you what, my wife was down in there cleaning it, right? And I talked her into getting out of it and coming over and helping me do something, and the wind blew it over. Oh, I'd have laughed so hard if she'd have been in that. Hello, Lizzie.
That's not funny.
Oh, yeah, you can hear them all laughing.
He gets busted out by his
wife. Your ass beats what you're about.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
She threatened me with a good time, guys. She threatened me with a good time.
Well, you better go. You better take her up on it. You know how long it is in between those.
I know it.
Nothing like being old and married.
I like it when she gets out the belt.
Look at the Stone Vet channel. Look at Shiz's channel. And there's somebody else. I can't remember right now. They broke down everything. All the paperwork, everything. So he got off capital murder because of a typo. He's still facing charges for what he did in his former work. So.
Hey, Ed, you're making all kinds of noise there, sir.
I shouldn't be. I'm outside.
I know.
Wind might be blowing across my mic.
It is. It's very loud.
Oh.
I like this. Ed needs to hold the wire hanging higher.
As you can see, it's even louder in the house here.
Oh my God.
Hold on, I'll be right with you.
Oh, it's all good. We're going to start the wrap-up process here because I got a couple things I got to get done before Monday rolls around. I just wanted to make sure I had you guys on, got you on to tell a story, share some tales, and point out that you're not these idiots. If you want to top watch,
a lot of people will say I'm not an auditor. I would postulate that I am the auditor. Maybe I am the gold standard and the rest are what they do. Maybe they are not the real auditors.
Last thing I heard about Florida is they're wanting to put in a 30-foot rule. It's either 20 or 30 foot that you have to stay back from first responders. That
there was a city that passed an ordinance that you're not allowed to video inside the police station, inside the lobby. That was just recently done. I don't know what the name of the city was. And the only problem here's the problem with the rest of these idiots. They're going out and they're creating such a problem with the cops and with city government, and with a librarian and with, the health department and whoever else they happen to run into. They're creating such a problem. Right. They're creating such a problem that all these people now want to pass laws to curtail my rights because of these assholes. right? And so, here's the problem I have with that. I have no problem with you videoing your interaction with your government officials, right? But that doesn't mean you walk in cameras blazing, filming everybody in line and their interactions with their government officials. That's not yours to film. That's yours to film when you're interacting with them, but it's none of your damn business when someone else is. That's the truth of it. Prove me wrong and good luck with that.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Like, I love the fact there was an idiot out of New York who got his ass busted big time. Can't remember his name. Long Island Audits. Big signs as you're walking into the precinct. No filming inside.
Right.
So he walks in with cameras going, and the desk sergeant's like, out. He's like, you can't. Show me the law. And he's like, what's right there? It's the policy. And he goes, policy does not trump law. I know my rights. I'm filming. And he wonders why he gets arrested.
Well, now he knows. You know what's sad is a lot of those get settled out. It's not that they won. They got settled because some of them cost too much to defend. It's not really about being able, and it's not really about who's right or who's wrong. It's about the city doesn't want to spend that much money to defend it against your idiotic self.
Yeah.
And you guys wonder why I call these one the gold standard. You really do.
Maybe we're just real people. We don't have characters that we play. We're not, obviously my channel's not that big. We got 4,700 subscribers. We're not huge and we're not trying to be. We're just trying to show people what really happens on the streets of Ironton so that when people like Chili go talk about it, they can come and see what's actually happening from someone who's actually here.
Be good, Triple B. Have a great one. Thanks for stopping in, brother. Cool. I really would like to see that pass nationwide because I found another channel. It's basically two cops that talk about stuff that like frauditors and everything do. And I love how they brought up, the stand back law or whatever they're going to call it.
Right.
And the one cop was good because I can't tell you how many times I'm playing, like putting my fingers in the dike to stop the bleeding. And someone's jumping on me going, save him. He's like, lady, I'm trying.
They wouldn't need this stand back law if they do it like we do it. See, that's the thing about the cops is once they realize you're not a danger to them or the people they are, have in custody or have detained at the moment, once they realize you're not a threat, then they don't have any reason to start going, stay back, get away, and all that stuff. If you come up with a little bit of, it's never the camera, Chris. It's the asshole behind it, man. It's never the camera. It's not about that. No one's trying to take your First Amendment. They're just trying to stop you from being an asshole. That's all. And when you're not that, no one tries to stop you.
See, that's what gets me. Like that one night where I finally got to see police interaction on your channel. Like I told you, it was like a red banner night for me with 3 stops. Okay.
It was for us too. We don't get a whole lot.
Yeah. The cops never once were like, why are you in the car? Why do you have cameras? What are you doing? You just did your job. For lack of a better phrase, you let them do their job. You did your job. There was no wild, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Back off of me, bro.
How did you like the interviews at the end? How in my town, whenever I'm out there, they'll turn around and pretty much tell me everything that I ask. How do you like that? Because a lot of times, they don't have to. They don't have to tell me a thing. But you see, it's a mutual respect. It's a rapport that we have established. As long as I stay out of their way and let them do their job, they're more than happy to explain to me why they had to do it when they're done.
See, and that's what I think it is with a lot of law enforcement. And I hate bringing him up, but he's like the most evil, vile individual ever for auditing. When you throw out the bullshit that he throws out, like what got him arrested in Vegas,
right?
When the cop went, good evening, how you doing? He goes, platitudes are for fucking suckers. Oh, that's going to start that interaction off great.
See, now what would have changed that whole situation is when they look at me and say, how are you doing tonight? I look up at them and say, I ain't worth a damn, and you already know that, don't you? And get a laugh out of them. Make it a pleasant interaction, even if they're trying to be sarcastic with me. When you do that, it disarms them. Now they can't be mean to you anymore openly because they look like a fool. Right? You're not being aggressive. It changes everything.
Did you guys notice on that last videos that we did when we had those 3 stops? When the next cop pulls up, he usually gets out of his vehicle. He looks over and goes, hi, Terry.
Yeah.
You know, even when the cameras are off and I'm just driving through town on a normal day, me and Ed out working, if they realize it's us, everybody, you know, everybody
Yep,
waves.
they'll throw their hand up and wave.
It's a really friendly town. You know, in the beginning, everybody hated me. They thought I was chilly, and now they realize I'm not, and they don't mind us being around.
Well, that's a shadow I'm glad. Seriously, I'm absolutely glad you got out of. I really, really, truly am.
It took a minute to shake off the chili fleas. I promise you, if you sleep with a dog, you will get fleas. That is fact.
Well, I get it. And this is the only way I can phrase it. He brings this presence with him.
Yes.
Granted, it's all based on bullshit.
Right.
I let you listen to that one thing where I pissed him off so bad in his live. He took 45 seconds to cuss me out.
I think it's funny.
Once you shatter that veneer, like I joked with you, the big bad alpha male in less than 3 days in lockup became a baby back bitch.
Well, see, now here's a little interesting story for you, right? The last time he was in Ironton physically, it was right before he ran out on the bail itself. He had bailed out. He was there he got a continuance, right? And right outside in front of the city building, he decided to approach me, like most bullies do. I'm a very small man. I'm only 5'4" and weigh like 150 pounds soaking wet. There's not much to me, right? And so he come at me with his finger in my face, looking down at me because he's a bit taller, you know, poking his finger toward my nose, screaming at. I mean, just like screaming at me, trying to tell me what my job is, how I'm supposed to act with the cops and whatnot. And I'm a little guy, and I don't appreciate that. When I feel backed against a wall, I'll come out fighting to the death because that's the only choice I have. I'm too tiny. And so I come back at him and backed him plumb out into the street so far that a car had to stop and honk the horn for him to get out of the middle of the street. Now, here's the point of this whole story. If a little tiny guy like me, when I get mad, if I scare Chili, oh, man, any real man in the world with any size to him, Chili wouldn't say a word to. That's what happened with Captain Goo. That's, you know, now you know why he's terrified of the captain, because the captain makes about 12 of me. He's a real size man.
I like how the captain made a belt, and he auctioned the belt off too because Chili wasn't man enough to defend it.
Actually, he didn't make the belt. That was actually part of a mixed martial arts training academy that he belongs to.
Oh, okay.
He used to fight mixed martial arts. He just got back into it and called in all of his old contacts to get the fight set up because Chili said he wanted to do it in a cage for charity. So Captain Chad Goo, the legislator, went and got it all set up and had it all ready for St. Jude's. And they spent like $3,000 to make that belt. That was an actual real mixed martial arts from their company, Nightmare Productions belt. They actually had that made for real.
Nice. But okay, we are up on that hour mark, and I got some stuff I'm going to do with my kids. So I want to say it just like this. I want to thank you both for what you're doing. I want to thank you both for having honor, integrity, and a bunch of fucking ethics that I don't see a lot from people in your profession. Anybody who's watching this later on, you don't know who they are. Go check his channel out, Ironton Auditor. If you can catch his live, it's kind of like they've been doing tonight. It's a party bus with a bunch of coffee.
Gotta have the coffee.
I've been called an overly caffeinated, salty-mouthed little man more than once.
Do you have anything coming up you want to let anybody know about?
No, I actually never have a plan, if you can imagine that. We have a life filled full of life happening at life speed like everyone else, and YouTube is a secondary thing. I don't know when my next live will be. I usually know the day that it happens. But before we conclude, may I say something to you in your chat?
Bring it.
I would like to thank you for having us here. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to prove what makes us unique and different. The fact that we're not like the rest of these guys. And to your chat out there, guys, I'll say the same thing that I say to mine. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the ride. I love each and every one of you. Thanks for showing up and listening to what we had to say and seeing that we are a bit different. I appreciate it.
Yes, everybody here is awesome. You guys just keep up the great work. Keep watching us and keep them thumbs coming and thumbs up. Or thumbs down, like Terry says. We like them all. Just keep sending them.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't care about negative interaction. It just likes interaction. So please, positive, negative. If you got a comment, leave it. You got a thumbs up or thumbs down, leave it. Let us know.
Now, I always throw this out here, and you guys are becoming part of the channel challenge. Okay. I say this to a lot of people. The pandemic's over. We all lost our way, sort of, about being around people, being friendly, and being whatnot. Take some time this week and call 5 people. If you can't call 5, call 4. Can't call 4, call 3. Working all the way down the line. And I'm not talking about people you go to the bar with normally. All right. I'm talking about people maybe you haven't spoke to in a while. And have the courage to listen when you ask this one question. How you doing? Because you never know. You never, ever know how that can change somebody's day. Catching a live with these guys, I could be having a bad day. I catch them live. They're having a great time. You can just feel the stress burn off. Have the courage to call. Have the courage to listen. I'm going to turn it over to you guys. How do you feel about that?
Sounds good to me. Make sure that any interaction that you have, whether it's someone you know personally or someone you meet out on the street, don't be afraid to look them in the eye. Don't be afraid to smile. And when they say, how are you doing? Look back at them and tell them how you're doing. I'm having a great day. I hope you are too.
Exactly.
What do you think, Ed?
I think you guys said it perfectly, man. It's mostly all it needs is just look somebody's way and give them a smile, you know. Shoot, if they look like they need a hug, give them one.
Yeah, why not?
If they don't want it, they'll let you know.
and it's a hell of a lot easier to get forgiveness than permission, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. Give them a hug. You never know. You might see. Here's something y'all don't know. I know what it's like to be suicidal from many, many years ago in my life. And you would be surprised how often one of those days might come along for somebody out there where they're having like the worst day of their life for whatever reason. And that small interaction with you, that little bit of happiness, that small grin that your stupid joke brought into their life might just keep them hanging on an extra day, guys. Make sure you do that for somebody. Yep. Be that positive influence for someone in your life, please. Everybody needs it.
Now, I'll tell you. Go ahead, Ed. Go ahead.
I'll tell you guys something I tell my grandchildren all the time. Life is too short to hold on to anger.
Right.
Let that stuff roll off, man, and just put a smile on your face. If somebody else is yelling at you, you know, they might be having a bad day. If you jump back at them, you know, it might make it worse. You know, so try to understand, you know, that everybody has different things going on in life. And just because they're angry at the moment doesn't mean that they're angry at you. Something might be happening in their life and you just need to find out.
Don't take everything so personal, guys.
Yeah.
Unless your last name's DeCastro, then you can take that as
give him an extra one for me, Chris.
But as we're rolling into next week, guys, watching this, both channels do have new content coming out. Tomorrow is kind of important. It is a collaboration with Triple B. He turned me on to it, and it's going to be a little bit different this time. So, as I say in all my videos, as I wrap them all up, I want to thank all of you for watching this one. I hope you're having a great day today. I hope you're having a safe day today. And I look forward to seeing all of you in our very next video. That